World War I 1914–1918 was the first total war in human history to engulf the entire world. It began with the Sarajevo incident in June 1914 when Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary was assassinated by a Serbian nationalist. This incident triggered the explosion of the intertwined alliance system among the European powers. When Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia, Russia intervened, supporting Serbia. Germany, in turn, supported Austria-Hungary and declared war on Russia and France. Following Germany's invasion of neutral Belgium, Britain entered the fray, rapidly spreading the war across Europe. The war was largely divided between the Central Powers, Germany, Austria, the Ottoman Empire, and Bulgaria, and the Allied Powers, Britain, France, Russia, Italy, and the United States. Initially, Germany's military power swept across Europe. But as the war dragged on, the depletion of troops and resources intensified. The Western Front, particularly the trench warfare, was a man-made hell. When the Russian Revolution erupted in 1917, and Russia withdrew from the war, the United States entered the war on the Allied side, filling the void. The massive American support of supplies and troops proved decisive, tipping the scales in favor of the Allies. The war ultimately ended with Germany's surrender in November 1918. The direct toll of the war was enormous. Over 16 million people died, 20 million were wounded, and Europe's industrial base was destroyed. Yet, despite the devastating consequences, several countries reaped post-war benefits. The United States was by far the greatest beneficiary. With European industrial production paralyzed during the war, the United States amassed enormous wealth through massive exports of military supplies and food. After the war, it emerged as the world's largest creditor nation, and the US dollar began to replace the British pound as the international currency. The United States emerged as the world's central power, both economically and politically, and the foundations of the 20th century Pax Americana-American-centered world order were laid during this period. Another beneficiary was Japan. Citing its alliance with Britain, Japan entered the war on the Allied side and seized German colonies in Asia and the Pacific. Through this, Japan secured China's Shandong Peninsula and islands in the South Pacific, strengthening its influence on the post-war international stage. This process later became the starting point for Japan's imperial expansion. Conversely, defeated Germany, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and the Ottoman Empire were the greatest victims of the war. The Treaty of Versailles humiliated Germany with massive war reparations, territorial losses, and military limitations, which later paved the way for the rise of Hitler. The Austro-Hungarian and Ottoman empires were completely dismantled, giving rise to new nation-states. In the Middle East in particular, Britain and France secured colonial interests by dividing the territory through a secret agreement, Sykes-Picot Agreement.